يا أبا عبد الله سيدي الغوث. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، وأفوض أمري إلى الله، إن الله بصير بالعباد. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي، يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة، ويا باب نجاة الأمة. غريب يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعتذر من السادة على هذه الكلمة. سبيت زينب، سبيت زينب، ومن وصايا للسيدة زينب إلى حبيب: عم يا حبيب لا تقصر في نصرتي هذا الغريب. إهداء إليها رحم الله من رفع صوته بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. With all honesty, as much as I tried to prepare for a majlis tonight, I couldn't come up with anything. Where do I start? Laylatul Ashir min al-Muharram. Where do I start? What part of Karbala do I begin speaking about? A night like no other. We spend Laylatul Qadr awake in worship in order for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah to be showered upon us. But on this night we anticipate that the rahmah of Allah will be brutally murdered. One night we spend in worship, another night we spend in crying and mourning. Where do I start? However, one point that didn't leave my mind, the advice Sayyidah Zainab Salamullah alayha gave to Habib ibn Mudahir Radwanullah ta'ala alayhi, razaqana Allah wa iyyakum shafa'atahu inshaAllah. When Imam al-Hussein was in Karbala and Habib arrives, a few of the companions began to hear Zainab within her tent asking Imam al-Hussein, "Oh Abu Abdullah, oh my brother, are you sure that these men that are with you are going to support you?" Sayyidah Zainab had that doubt, not in the ability that the companions had, but is there anyone to go out to help the son of Rasulullah? Is there anyone that's going to give the hujjah of Allah his haqq? So Imam al-Hussein on multiple times, he would sit with her, "Zainab, don't worry, these men are warriors, these men have given me their words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, paraphrasing, has chosen them for me." One of the companions goes and he runs back to Habib. He says, "Habib, I heard something that's absolutely heartbreaking." He says, "What did you hear?" "I heard Zainab tell her brother Hussein that, oh Abu Abdullah, are you sure that these men will protect us? Are you sure that these men will be enough to support and aid our cause?" Upon hearing this, Habib, Shaykhul Ansar, the well-respected figure from amongst the companions, says, everyone come together. They go to the tent of Zainab salamullah alayha. They're outside of the tent. Imam al-Hussein walks out. Habib says, "O Abu Abdullah, we are here so that Zainab can be reassured that we are here to help her, we are here to support her." Imam al-Hussein goes back into the tent. He says, "Ya Zainab, the Ansar are outside waiting. They are here to tell you that they are here to support me and that they won't leave me." So Zainab says, "I want to speak to them." The narration says she wears the aba'ah of her mother Fatima salamullah alayha. That same hijab, that same aba'ah that was burnt when her house was attacked. Zainab wears this. She goes out. She says, "Salamun alaykum ya Habib." Peace be upon you, O Habib. The narration says Habib falls to the ground. He grabs the soil of Karbala and he began to hear on. He says, "Man ana hatta Zainab bintu Ali tusallim alay." Who am I for Zainab, the daughter of Ali ibn Abi Talib, to send her salam to me? He began to hit on himself. And then Zainab says to him, "Am ya Habib, لا تقصر في نصرة هذا الغريب." Oh Uncle Habib, don't fall behind in supporting and aiding the Imam of your time. I say, Ya Zainab, when everyone died and Imam al-Hussein was left on the land of Karbala, who was there to help him? Who was there to wrap him in a cloth, in a shroud? They say, طلعت زينب من الخيمة ونادت أما فيكم مسلم. Zainab goes out into the middle of the Tellu Zaynabi and she screamed out, فوضعت عشرها على رأسها. Zainab placed her hands over her head and she began to scream out, أما فيكم مسلم. Al-Hussein is left alone. Is there no one to help Al-Hussein? One thing we can take from this message, يا حبيب لا تقصر في نصرة هذا الغريب. And that message is applicable today. Every one of us, Zainab sends a message to. Don't fall behind in the majalis of my brother Al-Hussein. These majalis are that of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to participate in. Through the hadith of Imam al-Sadiq, and we explained this hadith last night, where the Imam says that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon these gatherings in which our remembrance is remembered. And we also covered the importance of participating in al-sha'air al-Husayniyya. Every majlis we attend to, everything that we participate in, understand that no matter what we give, anything we give in the name of Imam al-Hussein will always be qaleel. For we can't repay that blood that was spilt in Karbala. And we have to understand that. Abdullah al-Radhi' or Ali al-Asghar, based on different narrations of who the child's name was, brutally murdered at 6 months old. Imagine your child, for those of you that are parents, your newborn child comes out. Your wife says to you, "We've run out of milk." It's very easy to nip down to Woolies and buy a carton of milk for your child. It's very easy to open the tap and give your child water at 6 months old. But in the scorching heat of Karbala, where the water source was cut off, the likes of Ruqayya, the likes of Sukayna, the likes of Fatima al-Sughra salamullah alayhima, ruhi lahunna al-fida, they say, Ya Abbas, we're thirsty. It's not as easy as going down to the corner shop and getting water or milk. Imam al-Hussein goes out. It is Laylatul Radhi' tonight. Understand this Layla. Give it its right. The Imam salamullah alayhi, Imam al-Hussein says to Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, "Go get us water for the children." Another heartbreaking point, Imam al-Hussein sees that his son Zainab comes to him. She says, "Oh my brother Hussein, your son is thirsty, he's crying. He needs to drink water." Imam al-Hussein goes out, he holds his water, he holds his child. He says that if there was any sins amongst the elders, فَمَا ذَنْبُ هَذَا الرَّضِيعِ, then what is the fault of this child? You know what they said to Harmala? "Oh Harmala, shoot an arrow." Harmala asks, "Al-walid am al-walad? Which one do I hit? Oh master," his master bad. They say, "No, hit the child." They shot the arrow straight into the neck of the 6-month-old child. They say Imam al-Hussein grabs the blood that came down from the child's neck, threw it up into the air, and said, "Allahumma taqabbal hadha al-qurban min ali Muhammad." Oh Allah, accept this sacrifice from the Ahlul Bayt. Understand, this majlis that you're in tonight is a majlis where Imam al-Zaman is crying, "L'abkiyanna alayka badal al-dumu'i dama." Instead of crying tears, I will cry blood for you. Blood in the name of Imam al-Hussein is sacred in every form, whatever form. The blood of Radi', the blood of Imam al-Hussein. I mentioned the hadith yesterday. When the Imam Salamullah alayhi was brutally murdered, he wipes his blood on his face and he says, "وَهَكَذَا أَلْقَى جَدِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ." This is how I will meet my grandfather Hussein, covered in my own blood. So understand, this majlis tonight is Mubarak. It's blessed in a way because your Imam of your time will be present in these majalis. The Imam of your time will be present. Don't forget the Imam from your dua. Tara, every one of us, it's from the mustahabbat of tonight is to stay up to the morning. Why? Because on this night the Ansar of Al-Hussein stay up. On this night Ansar Al-Hussein began to read the Quran. Imam Al-Hussein says to them, "You know, tomorrow you guys are all going to die." The Imam says, "Go with your families, take your daughters, take your wives. They only want me. Take your family." The companion turns around. Listen to how beautiful this word is. He says to him, "Sayyidi, Mawlai, when we are in need, when we want something from you, Ahlul Bayt, we lick your shoe." Figure of speech, but the Ahlul Bayt don't let anyone go to this level. The riwayah of Imam al-Jawad explains this, that the Imams don't accept anyone to kiss their feet. That's another topic. But oh Imam, when we need something from you, we kiss your feet. And now that you need something from us, we're nowhere to be found. La wallah ya Aba Abdullah, we won't leave you. They stayed with him. Imam al-Hussein went to every single one of his companions. He opened his sababa wal-wusta. He opened his hands like this. And he goes to every single one of them and he says, "Look at your house in paradise. Look at your place in Jannah. If you remain with me, that's how you are going to die, and that's your jaza." Understand that these nights of Ashura, the nights of Muharram, are sacred nights. From the mustahabbat tonight is to stay up all night in ibadah, in acts. It's a layla mubarakah. Ayatullah al-Uzma, Shaykh Wahid al-Khurasani, Allah fi umrih, he says, "Ihtiyat wujuban, don't fast tomorrow." Ihtiyat wujuban, on an obligatory precaution, he says it's haram to fast tomorrow. However, it's mustahab to fast or to refrain from drinking until Salatul Dhuhr. If you can participate in these a'mal, understand this musibah that befell the Ahlul Bayt. Read Ziyarat Ashura, Yawmun Bihi. On a day like this, مصيبة ما أعظمها من مصيب هذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعنة منك والعذاب الأليم. This زيارة عاشوراء ibn Qawlaway and Sayyid ibn Tawus Radwanullah Ta'ala alayhi also mentions this زيارة عاشوراء. This ziyarah is ziyarah mubarakah, hadithun qudsi. Don't listen to those that try to distort your mind and say this hadith is, that's another conversation. Mali bihum tonight. I can't be bothered to refute their talks. This is Layla Musibah. I have no time for those people. Understand that on this night, Zainab salamullah alayha prepares her. So Fatima Sughra salamullah alayha says, but I need to mention this hadith, and I have the masdar with me. I wish this hadith was da'if. I wish this hadith was da'if. I wish this hadith has no source, but unfortunately it does. Fatima Sughra says, we were in Karbala. I was walking and a man began to chase me. She says, this man chased me. He wanted to rip off my earring. It says, Fatima Sughra says, this man catches up to me. He pulls my hijab off. And then Fatima Sughra says, then he slaps me on my face. Fatima Sughra salamullah alayha says, I went unconscious. Mind you, she was with no hijab. She gains consciousness again. She says her auntie Zainab in front of her. She says, Ammatah ya Zainab salibu hijabi. Oh auntie Zainab, they removed my hijab. You know what Zainab says? Wa ammatuki mithluki. Which means they even slapped, they even took the hijab of your auntie Zainab off. When Zainab is in front of Yazid, she says, وَأَبْدَيْتَ وَجُوهَهُنَّ. When Zainab is in front of Yazid, she says, do you guys even remove the hijab that was covering their face? Understand this musibah. I wish this hadith was da'if. Imagine your mother being slapped. Imagine your sister being slapped. Imagine your grandmother being slapped. I can't imagine that. وَوَرِثَتْ زَيْنَبْ مَصَائِبَ أُمِّهَا. And Zainab inherited that musibah of her mother Fatima salamullah alayha. Understand, this night is a night of tragedy, mourning. Stay up in this night, read Quran like the Ashab of Imam Al-Hussein. Tara, even if you've committed a sin tonight, Al-Hur gives you the chance. Al-Hur still hasn't repented. I won't say he hasn't repented, but it's not in my position to say someone like Al-Hur hasn't repented. Al-Hur tonight is still not in the camp of Imam Al-Hussein, Tara. It means there's still chance, there's still hope. There is still hope. You spent these 9 days in sin, there is still hope. Tomorrow before Salatul Dhuhr, you have time. Even after Imam Al-Hussein's Shahada, you still have time. But understand, on this night tonight, you still have the chance to follow Imam Al-Mahdi. Inshallah, we can give the night its haqq. Allahumma ajjal li waliyyika al-faraj wamnan alayna bi ridahu wa hab lana ra'fatahu wa rahmatahu wa du'a'ah. اللهم رزقنا زيارة الحسين، اللهم رزقنا شفاعة الحسين، اللهم لا تسلب منا خدمة الحسين، اللهم لا تسلب منا شعائر الإمام الحسين، وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ولقضاء الحوائج رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقه الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.